Welcome back, amigos, to your Football Amigos show. It's your boy Media, of course. And yes, I have the boys back. We are back. Oh, what a weekend it's been, amigos. Like, share, and subscribe. It's good to have you all back. Of course, as you see, I have the boys here. Sam, we'll start with you. How are you doing today, sir?
Very thankful and just rooting for Arsenal, man.
Oh, yo, are we changing alliances now? Yeah, you rooting for Arsenal? What? Okay, amigos, we'll come back to
Yeah,
that. Ayo, how are you doing today,
yeah,
sir?
We're doing great. Just happy to be with the guys, talking about the Premier League and which teams are in form and which
I
teams are not.
know. I can see the smile on your face for obvious reasons, right?
North London is forever red.
Forever.
Forever. In
So,
perpetuity.
if in perpetuity, that's funny. Well, amigos, we're back again, of course, bringing you another wonderful content. This is our reaction to Game 12. It was a very, very interesting weekend. Of course, some of us not so much, but some of us from the London side of the Amigo family, there's a lot to be happy about. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to try to dissect what happened to Liverpool and definitely what happened to United for obvious reasons. Ayo, we'll start with you today. Arsenal played Tottenham at home and had a very, very good game. If I was to rate Eberechi Eze, I would give him a 10. And it's rare for a player to get a 10 because we're humans, we're bound to make mistakes, we're not perfect, but his game was perfect. That I will absolutely give him that. His game was perfect. And this is why in life, amigos, it's important to remember never judge a book by its never judge a book by its cover. Don't write people off until they really show you who they are. Thomas Frank in his press conference a week ago had this expression, "Who's Eze?" Don't do that. You don't do that because at the end of the day, it will come back to haunt you, and he definitely did 3 times. Arsenal dominated that Spurs derby game, and here I was trying to encourage Tottenham that they would do a little better in my predictions last week. Amigos, go check that out. Trying to say the game was going to be close. No, it wasn't. It was an absolute rollover from a Tottenham perspective. They did not come to play against Arsenal whatsoever. The tactics were wrong. The execution of the tactics were wrong. Thomas Frank did not get this right whatsoever. The players didn't believe in themselves. They didn't believe in their tactics. The goal that Richarlison scored, it was an opportunistic goal, and he took it well. Okay, but Arsenal dominated the entire game. Ayo, we'll start with you. Is this the Arsenal you all have been waiting to see for the past 3 years?
Waiting to see. I mean, the Arsenal we see is just the Arsenal we see. Um, it was good to watch. It was a game to watch. I mean, we already knew how the other title league games had gone. The day before, Man City dropped points, Liverpool dropped points, and all through last season, whenever this opportunity was presented, while Liverpool were ahead, and for Arsenal to regain ground, they always found a way to either mirror the results of Liverpool, regardless of the opposition, or do worse. And so there was that anxiety going into the game, and also the anxiety of understanding that all your strikers are out. You're playing Marino, which has its moments. You're not sure if Martinelli, Madueke, you know, can be fit in time. So it just felt like a game that you couldn't use last season's team and get success. And that's pretty much what Arteta did. He brought most of the players from last season, brought them in, and somehow you can tell how much work he has done. They are now able to break low blocks at will. This is the second time in 2 weeks we saw this. We saw this in the second half against Scotland when they scored the first goal and they sat back. and Arsenal were able to pull them apart and score 2 goals. Now we saw it today with Tottenham, who were from the onset willing to have five at the back and really congest as much space as possible. And Arsenal have found a way, and you know, it's so funny because you've been seeing glimpses of everything we've been doing over 3 seasons, and you've seen it coalesce into a complete performance. You see how we have a right-sided bias where the goal is to draw as many players to that side and really exit both the central areas and the opposite wing, and then find them through intricate passing. And they did this at will. And I must say that, yeah, it's just good to be an Arsenal fan. You can see a mature team. You can see players who are ready. They're refined. All the work has been done. You can see the maturity all across the pitch. Timber is a wonderful player. He looks complete. He looks unbeatable. He looks just resolute. The same can be said on the other side. Calafiori, it's just incredible to watch. And Eze, I wasn't the biggest fan of Eze. I was not happy with that signing. I won't lie to you. And I'll tell you why. Because it felt like a panic signing. It felt like we didn't really have a role that was ready made for him. And it wasn't clear how he was going to adapt, because I thought they were going to use him more as a left winger. And I thought that his profile wasn't necessarily the best for what we were trying to do. But Arteta's shown this uncanny ability to play to players' best strengths. He takes his time to understand what you're good at, and unlike other coaches that try and bend players to the team, he adjusts the team to suit the players' best qualities and profiles. And he even said in his post-match interview, everything they've been working on is getting Eberechi Eze to that central position, because his reactions are excellent. His execution, his snapshots, all excellent. And so we played it. It worked out. It was surprising, though. I didn't expect Tottenham to be that bad. That was
It was a typical Spursy game, but maybe a lot worse. I mean, here's the point, and Sam, I would love to hear your thoughts about this when I present it to you. As a coach, you notice three chances that Iberechi had, and you could tell that he was building that confidence. I would think coaching instruction would be, hey guys, Iberechi is moving from the right side of midfield to that center circle in front of the goal where he's most dangerous. Can someone mark him? Do not let him have the ball. And they watched him score 3 goals and didn't do anything about it. Which, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, what are we? I'm seeing this and I'm noticing this mistake, and I have a solution to it. Thomas Frank, that's right there in front of the touchline. Why is he not seeing this? It really boggles the mind. And I could go on about some of the decisions that were made as well, but they just look like they just wanted to sit back. They didn't want to attack at all, or maybe they wanted to, they just couldn't. Sam, I would love to hear your thoughts. This is a national team that didn't have Kai Havertz, didn't have Odegaard. I don't know where Odegaard's going to play now if Everesi keeps playing this way. They don't have Gokeres. They don't have Gabriel. They have players coming in for those players that just seamlessly transition into that position very well and still execute the same coaching points and tactics that Arteta wants. Is this a sign to you, Sam, that sometimes you have to make sure you buy the players you need in certain positions to be able to execute it? And the reason I'm asking you this is because it's the opposite for Liverpool, which is what I'm going to lead into. But from an Arsenal perspective, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think big shout out to Arsenal for sure. I won't necessarily say buy players that are versatile. You're not going to the market looking for player that can play 20 positions, right? But I think the key thing is the mindset, and this is where big credit to Arteta. You mentioned some players that are currently out right now. You should include Waneri into on that list as well. They have so many so many killers in the game, and all of a sudden the killers just, it seems like they've went away. But you still have great ones like Saka. But the key thing is the mindsets, the hunger, the discipline. Eze on the left is dangerous. Eze in the middle, now the way we see Arsenal dragging him, the way he's controlling things in Arsenal is surprising. It goes to the mindset and hunger that Arsenal's got right now. To tie back to Liverpool a little bit, maybe the hunger is not there. Maybe the players just have, they have parochial mindset. They are one-sided, one directional players, and it can bubble up to the coach as well. Like, can you bring out the fire in this player? So big shout out to Arteta. The mindset, the culture that they've built is incredible. And when Ayo mentioned that he wasn't sure about Eze, I was so sure. I wasn't sure about the results you would get for Eze, but I thought Eze was going to come in and take the place of Martinelli, Trossard, which those two players, I don't rate them as the greatest in my own opinion. So I was expecting, I'm sorry,
I thought Trossard is playing very well right
oh,
now.
Trossard is on fire now. I would give
Yeah.
it to him. But Martinelli, I just don't like his game. I don't like my, before,
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Martin Odegaard. That's sorry.
oh
Martin.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah. I
no,
see that.
no.
I see that. Yeah.
So I thought, Eze is gonna come in, take over the left, and be a killer winger in Arsenal, man. But now it's a different Eze we're seeing, different Arsenal. I just don't see them now winning the league, man. I don't see them now coming out with 5, 6, 7, 0 in the next couple of games because the hunger is there. Yeah, it's because this is how you all know this. When you start getting to the point that you're leading the table and you have players that are individually talented, they can play different positions. Marino can come in and take different positions, and the margin is getting slightly wider. Man City is dropping form. Liverpool is completely dropped form. The only thing that is left for you is to be destroying teams, right? So I don't see them not doing great things. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, Sam, in terms of mentality, and you are absolutely right. Ayo, do you remember the moment in the game where it was a corner kick and Tottenham cleared it and it was going to be a counter attack? Do you remember when Eze ran diagonally from the left side of the field, sorry, from the right side of the field to the left, running diagonally to stop? I can't remember who the winger was to clear the ball into throw in. He literally ran back all the way to the middle third of the field where the coaches were. And Sam talking about mentality is absolutely right. For Eze to do that and still have the energy to score 3 goals, and I think didn't he? No, it was Rice that assisted the first goal for Trossard. But again, it's that hunger, like you said, it's that desire, and it brings up the question: what's going to happen to what's your right back's name? White, Ben White on the bench. I don't see him playing.
Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Marino that with the assist.
but yeah, it was already sits right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
and it was a worldie of a assist. I'm only saying that though because a lot of what Eze was able to do is that we put him in a very stable team. We're not asking him to do a lot. We're asking him to be in a position that we need him to be when the ball reaches him and to be ready. Like the biggest part of why we dominated Tottenham was because of Timber and Calafiori. We have liberated them in such a way that they are so effective in any position that they pick up that their runs can be used to destabilize teams. Meaning that Calafiori is brave enough that if you give him, he'll roll into the number 10 position, he'll roll into the striker position if you let him, and if the ball reaches him, he will punish you. Timber is one of the most effective carrier of the balls. And if you let him run into your number 10 position, your the number 8 position, or even the number 9 position, he will also hurt you. And so their movements have to be tracked. And it was in the tracking of those movements that Tottenham lost their shape, and we
To
did that.
second that, go ahead, finish your thoughts.
Yeah, and we did that throughout the game. And all we just told Eze was, your goal is to arrive late, arrive in position, because we're doing all of this like we're. But the ball is coming to that center position, and you have to be there and be ready. And what I love about Eze is how calm he is in those key positions. He almost has that kind of like Spanish thing where they can't be rushed. He'll take their time and do exactly what they want to do, which is very hard to find in an offensive play. A lot of players, they just rush their action. He took his time for those three goals, and that had to be commended. I don't think there's anybody in
Give him
Arsenal.
space too, though. They also
Sorry,
give him the space too.
it gave him the space away from the first one. He had to beat two players.
Sure.
Yeah, so like that was just a maverick game. Like it's like the last goal for example, how he just like delayed the pass. So Udogi
Look,
slides
rumor
into
has
no
it.
man's land.
Rumor has it he's still sliding.
He's still sliding. Like those like Geico commercials. They're just like sliding continuously. No, but it's sorry. You just see so much how the team is mature. A lot of these players have been there for 4 or 5 years. A lot of these players, they understand, like Timber understands what Saka is doing. Saka understands what Timber is doing. You throw Declan Rice into there, you throw Marino into those combinations. There's a lot of synergy. Oh, and Zubimendi as well. I've never seen a player arrive and seem so comfortable so soon. That is what he has done this season cannot be
Should be
discounted
studied.
because
Should be
yeah,
studied.
because like we're talking about how Eze is new, but at no point in my mind do I think Zubimendi is new. He feels like he's always been there. That's just how seamlessly he is adapted to our system, which tells you about his intelligence and why we chased him. You know, he was our first acquisition. We already had his like number in March, and we were like, yeah, we're just waiting to when we can sign him because I think Arteta picked him out as the linchpin to making our midfield work. But suffice to say, I really do think that there's a maturity. I really think there's a desire, and I think there's a sense of belief in this team that seems unshakable. And I think that's a key indicator of good things to come.
What
Yeah,
happens to Ben White? Is he gonna play at all?
Timber might be the best right back in the world right now.
Mm.
I've not seen a player like Timber. He every time I watch him, he goes from strength to strength. I've never seen him play. He feels for me he's better every single game. Like I see him this game, I'm like, okay, you can't possibly be any better because you're just so good at this point. Next game, he finds a way to impress me. In that kind of environment, I don't think Ben White. He is now comfortably second best. I think he also get game time. There are midweek games. There are other cup games. There are games where we may need to rest Timber. And I think Ben White will play those games. But I think now he's been relegated to a supporting character, I hope. They find a use for him. But yes, you know, he just has to wait for his opportunity because they will come. I mean, Timber was injured for almost 9 months. And Ben White played all those games. So there's no guarantee that Timber will stay fit. So we do need Ben White. However, he is firmly second choice now. And he has to accept that.
Sam, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. When your team start evolving and you start finding that magic connection, not magic in this case. When you find that connection, if there's no injury, there's no need to break it apart. Especially in the Premier League games Premier League, you have 38 games. Consistency, once you find it, there's no need bringing different things. Ben White does bring different approach to the game. Definitely a good player when it comes to disrupting opponents, box when you have set pieces or corners and all of that. But Arsenal is playing a different game style now. So once you find the consistency, there's no need for you to be changing them. And it will get his game time. There's tons of game coming up, so I won't. It should be okay getting a medal over, being second for the fourth time in a row and you play 35 games. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm not
That makes sense.
saying, he's a bad player, but it's just the reality of things. Look at that Man City goalkeeper that retired, like, was it 2 months ago? He played for like maybe like 300 minutes. I forgot his name, something. And this dude has like maybe 20 trophies just being the third goalkeeper. So sometimes you have to pick your battles,
Scott
man.
Carson, maybe? Is that
Something
his
like
That's
name?
that.
him. That's
Yeah.
him. The
And I
Australian.
think
Yeah.
he played less than
Yeah.
200 minutes, you know. This dude has trophy more than probably Mo Salah would ever have in Premier League.
Like, share, subscribes, amigos. Let us know your thoughts about that wonderful Arsenal display against Tottenham. We'll see if Tottenham can recover over their next couple of games. And Thomas Frank, again, he's new. I like to give coaches at least a whole season. Second season will be the one where I would like to see more improvements from a Tottenham standpoint. But yes, Arsenal absolutely dominated. Moving on to Liverpool losing to Nottingham Forest 3-0. Where do we start with Liverpool? Sam, we'll start with you. You talked about mentality. You talked about hunger. Is this what's lacking? Are these qualities is what's lacking in the Liverpool team that just won the Premier League last season, coming to the season with even, I mean, quote unquote, better players? Is that all that's lacking right now, or is there something fundamentally wrong with the team and its balance?
There's a lot of things wrong. But the first thing that I'll tell you is I got my calculator here. I need
Oh,
to calculate all the goals that we've conceded. Oh man, there's a lot of things wrong. A lot of things wrong. It's hard to pinpoint what. At first, a lot of people were thinking. I thought it was like, oh, you have just lost one of your players. The emotions and all of that. But no, you started the season pretty well. Well, not pretty well. We started seeing the signs at the beginning of the season where we could barely win a game flat out. 1-0, this and that. Uh, the only thing that I would say is mentality, more so the addition. There's too many changes in one transfer window, and the coach right now doesn't know what how he should be using his Swiss knife right now. So I feel for him. You have a sharp resource, or not sharp resource. You have a sharp tool, but you just don't know how best to use it. Um, and when you start playing teams like Nottingham Forest, they just never get tired. They run like crazy. They play like they're playing pickup, kind of like the Arsenal that we just talked about. Like everybody is good with the position they find themselves. You know, the the midfielder can get in front and strike the ball like Chris Wood will strike it. So it's hard for you to not be in good shape and you want to go against a team like that. But it goes back to mentality and the changes. The changes were too much. However, it's taking too long for them to figure it out. It's taking too long for them to get it together. It's taking too long for them to gel. Because look at it, it's 11 men against 11 men. You are at Anfield. You have better pedigree, if I may put it that way. You cannot collapse like that. It's just a lot of things going on. However, there's some obvious things, right? We commit we commit players ahead too much. We are so attacking minded that it's so questionable. There's some games that you should just go in and say, we're doing pretty bad right now. Just get me a draw out of this game. But it seems like everybody is just wanting to go to the midfield. The midfielders, there's no way it's hard for you to find them. And also, we have to call out players like Konate, the Nottingham Forest game. A lot of people have been saying Konate, and I'm like, it's not really our problem. But I'm starting to see it. And not his fault. at all. It's hard for you to be your center back, and the coach is probably telling you to, hey, step forward, step one, step a little bit more, and not now Forest. They keep running. They want to cross the ball. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. So there's a lot of things. The obvious one is, Kanate maybe has fitness issue, maybe confidence, or maybe the role that how the coach is pushing him is probably killing him. We need to address that. We need to address how we're using our substitution right now. The substitution, you have a lot of tools. You need to start thinking about it. Like, who can get me a good job in the midfield? Do I need to start Mo Salah? The other day, Mo Salah didn't start. If the whole world was turning down, no player is bigger than the club. I know Man United are used to that phrase a lot, but I think Mo Salah is becoming a player that seems to be bigger than the club. Why should Mo Salah be getting 90 minutes when he's not putting the effort, 50% effort to get us where we need? So move players around so we can be successful. I feel bad for players like Florian Wirtz, Isak, and Eketike. The new guys are joining and they think we're gonna come out here and start balling. It's hard for them to be successful. Some of them have questionable input though, but it's still hard for them. We're not setting them up for success. So looking forward, what I would like to see from Liverpool is a more defensive minded Liverpool. Um, just to decrease the goal. There's way too many goals. 3-0, 3-0 everywhere. 3-0. So decrease minimize the damage. Then let the attackers, give attackers more opportunities. Give Chiesa more time. Let's just change the tools that you're using and see if that's going to drop down to the mindset. So there's a lot of things. I'm glad it's happening now, to be honest, because we have time to fix it and find ourselves in the top four. Premier League title is out of the way for sure, but we can get ourselves in the top four rather than have happening January, February. That's when it just goes down the hill. So that's my thoughts on it.
It's interesting you say that, Sam, and of course, thank you for your thoughts. Those are very powerful. Ayo, from a tactical standpoint, Liverpool has two weaknesses now: ball over the top and cutbacks. I cannot remember, but that Nottingham Forest game, there was about at least more than eight cutbacks that Liverpool did not address. Two of them were goals, right? Out of the three Nottingham Forest scored. And when I see the replay and I pause and I, again, from a coach's standpoint, and I look at the line, I see the center backs chasing the ball and not marking players. And then when they come back, you see Konate looking behind him, thinking someone is there. No, you should be there. You should be there marking that player so that if the cutback happens, you can intercept the pass or stay with the player and be able to defend. That's just one issue. Another thing that I'm realizing is Slot's trying to be too clever with that selection. Why is Soboslai playing right back? Why? Especially when you know Salah isn't going to run back to defend because he's just not used to it. Not saying he should, not saying I'm not giving him an excuse. He should do it like everyone else. But when you know he doesn't, have Soboslai behind him to cover that space and have a right back there. And if Konate is having issues playing, give him a break. Bring in Joe Gomez there and just change things around a little bit. And then if Kirkes isn't ready, put him on the bench as well. Play Robinson. And then if Robinson gets tired because he's older, then bring in Kirkes. Let him earn his spot into the team. And leave everyone else the way they were, right? And if the counter attack isn't working, come up with a pattern for them to attack. Because it seems to me right now where they're just trying to go over the top, over the top, over the top, and it's not working. They don't have any other way to attack. And so, Ayo, to your point, I'd love to, your amigos would love to hear this as well. Is he just overdoing it? Is that what's going on here from a tactical standpoint?
I think Stott is just trying to is just starting to understand what the Premier League is. Um, Liverpool are wounded right now. There is blood in the water, and the Premier League is full of sharks. That's all it is. That's it. You know, someone was having a discussion about the Arsenal game. What's it called, against Liverpool, and how we played very conservatively, and everybody was like, "If only we knew." Now everybody knows.
Yeah,
And now everybody would take a shot. Everybody knows that Liverpool can be stretched. Everybody knows how to hurt them. And Slot has to figure that out before he's bled dry. And at the same time, he has to bring in all these players that he bought. He sold really key players.
yeah,
I don't think we can underestimate the effect, and we are understanding now of Luis Diaz, that intensity, that drive, that pressure. I don't know if you remember the game that Bayern played against PSG. He got a red card, but prior to doing that, he already scored 2 goals. And you know how he scored 2 goals? Just the level of pressure he put on that ball. He scored 2 goals. That's something that's completely now gone from Liverpool's front line. That pressing is gone. So Salah can't press. He just doesn't have the legs for it. Gakpo was never a serious presser, and I don't think either Ekitike or Isak understand what it takes to man a press. And once you do that, all that just means is that the players in the back have time on the ball to pick their passes. In the Premier League, you give players time on the ball to pick their passes. And Elliot Anderson is starting for England. Morgan Gibbs White is Morgan Gibbs White. We know these players. You give them time on the ball, they will hurt you. And so it doesn't matter what's going on in the back. Even if you change the defenders and you what's it called, you rejig it, it doesn't resolve anything, because the pressure that Liverpool used to put that just didn't give teams at any moment of rest, any moment to pick their head up to look at. They were either kicking the ball out into the ether or just doing sloppy giveaways for which Liverpool could take advantage on. Now they look, now they see the runs, now they see the patterns. It's all in front of them. Pretty much any team in this league will punish you under those conditions. That's why Arsenal press the way that we do, and that's why we've had success, because we don't allow people to look up. And so Slot has to find that intensity throughout the team, or find a completely different way of playing, and that is easier said than done. And so he's in the rock in two places. He can't do either now, and so it's almost like a chimera where you have a bit part of last season, and then you have all the new, and it just combines together to have this ugly creature of a squad, and he has to turn that into something that's coherent before Liverpool are no longer able to make Champions League. I agree with Sam. Premier League is gone. You can't lose 6 games and have a shot at the Premier League. But now they're running a chance of not making the Champions League, which would be disastrous for Liverpool. And so he has to find an answer. Personally, I think they have to do what Man City did last season. They have to just accelerate the transition. It's going to take a lot of money, but they've bought new players. I think, honestly, like the Isak's another one, man. He played himself.
they didn't
He
need
played
him.
himself. He played himself. That's why you need to be fit when the league starts. That's why you need to be fit and up to speed. He downed his tools. He stopped going to training so they can make this what's it called? This move happened. And when the move happened, he was not up to speed. And the fact that he's not up to speed is so glaringly obvious. And now Liverpool don't know what to do, because now they're actually playing him not on merit, right? Because they have to
Yeah,
get him onto speed, and it's affecting Nakatike because he deserves to be starting. He has earned the
Absolutely.
right. He has scored the goals, and now you have to bench him. And now you can see how he's playing. And so, like, there's just so many things that are going wrong for them, and they just have to go and just say, what does the future look like? Last few seasons, we served the strikers serve the wingers. Now it has to be inverted. The wingers must serve the strikers now. Who are those wingers? Let's go get them. Right? If we're going to have two fullbacks who are offensive, who's the holding midfielder that makes that work? Go get them. Like if the partnership of what's it called, Konate and
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk is broken down, and Gomez is not up to it because if he was up to it, he would be playing. Go find that defender. I don't care if it's 300 million, 400 million, just get it done. And you have too many players than you need. However, you're getting ready for next season because this season is gone. However, they need to make sure that they can make the Champions League, and they can't stay in this no man's land. They can't go back because all the players that made them great last season are gone. They have to go forward, and they have to go forward fast. That's how I see it. But if you see, there's a month between now and January, so you got to figure out how that's going to work too.
Sam, to wrap up the Liverpool situation, African Cup of Nations is coming, so we know Salah won't be there, right? And as Ayers mentioned, there's another transfer window coming this January. Do you think those two events happening can shine as a light to Liverpool's darkness right now?
Not necessarily. I think I don't think we need to go to the market right now.
Really?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think we have the tools. We have the tools. I believe it was you that mentioned why is Szoboszlai playing right back, even when things are going wrong. One of the quickest decision is usually push him in the right back. Don't get me wrong, he does a good job there, but I prefer him in the midfield. He's probably one of our fastest midfielder right now, most creative midfielder right now. McAllister just doesn't do a good job defending. So the left back situation, this guy that got loaned out, what's his name? Simicus. I think if we have him now, he's still better than
Bradley?
Kirkus. He's on
Oh,
the left side. He's
on the
better
left
than
side, okay.
Kirkus. Why? Kirkus is good. Don't get me wrong, but we don't need any winger right now or a fullback becoming something else now. You just need that guy that is just going to be the gatekeeper. Because again, Van Dijk and Kanate, they don't even look back. They don't look at what's behind them anymore. So you need somebody that will be supporting that back line. We have these tools. Salah going to African Cup of Nations makes us better, in my own opinion. It might, or maybe it gives the coach some clarity. Like, oh, somebody's got to play that position. There's no Harvey Elliott. Who do you have? I bet you have Chiesa. You know, when you put Chiesa on that side, let's see if Isak is going to convert some of these little chances that he's getting or not. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we need Isak, but we already have him at this point. He's not getting the good balls. He barely touches the ball. He barely gets all these. I think he had like 8 touches in the entire game with Nottingham Forest, and maybe 5 of them came in the second half.
Which
So,
is the crazy thing, Sam. If he's so used to being supplied the chances for him to score in Newcastle, and you know Liverpool doesn't do that, why go to a team that will not supply you chances?
well, you don't know what these coaches or these scouts or tell the promised player. They can tell you that, oh, we got you, we'll make things happen. Then, but you have to deal with the fact that Mo Salah wants to be the superstar still. Mo Salah cares about you know, uh, rightfully so cares about his statistics. So Mo Salah still want to convert all the balls, and you don't. Isak is not Nunes that's gonna say, "Hey, I'll pass to you. I'll also so you can be free and go inside and do damages. Isak want to also, Isak wants the spotlight. Cody Gakpo on the other side, who unfortunately doesn't have a strong replacement or a substitute right now. Excuse me. We know his game. Caught in and shoots. 7 out of 10 times
Isn't
he was.
Gamoa too young?
I don't think he's too young. I
He's too young.
I'll say yes. Honestly, yeah, I agree with you, Ayo, especially when we're in this deep hole right now.
Did you
So
see
if
when
we
they
do,
brought him on?
yeah, it's he missed some ball. He's hungry. He's too fast. Imagine having him on the left and you have Kirkus as well. That's dangerous. So, right now, yeah, maybe we can go to the market, but Chiesa can play the left side. Chiesa can be on the left side. So there's just so many things they need to tweak around. But Ayo, you wanted to say something?
So my thing with Chiesa is Chiesa doesn't have the legs for Premier League. That's the thing I've noticed. And so for me, what makes Salah so good is you want to isolate him with the understanding that he will beat that player and create something happen. They do everything to isolate him with a right back. And so you want players that are faster. You want someone faster than Salah and just as technical. You think about like Esteval, for example. You think about a player like that. That's kind of what Liverpool is looking for, because you want to isolate and let him create, and then outside of that, you want to recreate that intensity in that front line, because everybody now that they've had, Gakpo kind of does not have the intensity. Isak and what's it called, and
Okay.
Ekitike don't have that intensity yet. I'll just say yet. Salah doesn't have the legs, and I don't think Wirtz understands the Premier League yet. Next season, maybe later in the season, maybe he'd get his the physical side of his game up to par, so that he can actually like run that midfield. But I think the reason why he's not there is that he just doesn't have the physicality for a central midfield in the Premier League at the moment, and that's why he's not playing. And so you have to get that intensity back. And if that intensity is not in the squad, you have to go and find it. Or at the very least, you have to go and find those players that are excellent on one-on-ones. They're very rare. They're very hard to find. It's very hard to predict. Like a Jeremy Doku. Like I guess Doku it was clear that he could do it. But how many players did Man City spend money on and they were like, yeah, this is not going to work? Like 100 million on Grealish, this is not going to work. Like so, you have to almost go try so many times to find that player. And so Liverpool, I think, need to just go ahead and go find them. Like if they have to go like spend 70 million on Semenyo and just get it started, like just go do it. Like if you have to go spend, I don't know who else in world football is available.
Yeah.
You think they can get to Lise from
Why
by?
do you think about that? The problem is we already have problems with. What name did you mention?
Elise.
Lise, yeah,
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Company
The
won't let
problem
him.
with that is we already have too many changes. You're already spending money. So when if I bring out my calculator again, the money we spent is way more than the results we're getting right now. So, and also
Yeah.
these players come in, especially if they are not already in the Premier League. Then you have about 3-4 months for them to get used into the system. So I would ride the season. Just don't suck so bad that you lose top 4.
But
I'm
that's
okay.
the thing, though. Do you think at this level they can keep? I'm not sure.
No, the numbers that are not pointing to that. They're not pointing that. If I'm okay if they win Champions League somehow, and don't make Premier League and find a way to get into Champions League, I'm okay with that. But right now, bringing new guys, it just has more complexity, in my own opinion. Again, and nobody wants to come to Liverpool right now. If you're already in Premier League, except if your team is heading to relegation. But if you're already in Premier League, you don't. And we need a player like Burmo, Konya, that they used to the Premier League. They can come in and do all of these damages. They continue the damages they've been doing. So it's a tough call. I see why we want to throw players at it and see if it would change. But at the same time, I think that's one of the reasons why we're here. So, yeah, let's talk about Man United before I start crying, please.
Oh gosh, amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts about that Liverpool game as well, and your solutions to solving Liverpool's current debacle right now in the Premier League. Talking about debacle, my team United, I will forever support them, but I started to really question where we are as a team when you lose at home to Everton with 10 men.
Thirteenth
That's
minute
let
at
that's
zero
at
zero.
Exactly. So there was another good 80 minutes that we could have changed the game, and we just didn't. And I, I'm not going to say much because if I start to talk, we might be here for another hour. So I'm going to let the other amigos analyze the game for you, amigos, and let them give their expression, because at this point I don't even know what we are as a team anymore. We're like lights on, lights off FC. We play well against Liverpool, and then we drop our mentality against Everton. I don't get it. Like, what else should we do? That's one for the players. The coach. It seems to me that you can only be stubborn for so much when you're winning games. He has changed. Okay, you cannot tell me you see a situation where you have 10 players on the field and you still couldn't make a change or be able to beat a low block. I really don't get it. So, again, I'm not going to say much because I can get really upset with this team right now. Ayo, we'll start with you. What in the world happened at Old Trafford on Monday?
Vijay, I think you're way too harsh. I think Everton are one of the worst teams to go 1-0 down. Um, it was a worldie of a goal to
Yes.
get that advantage. And as Arsenal found many a season, they have a mean low block, man, with Moyes' organization. They're just really good. And it takes magical moments to break that, and it just didn't happen on the day. If there's one thing I would say is, we want to still criticize Amarim on how he sets up his team. But prior to the last run of 3 games where you got the 2 draws, and even in those 2 draws, I think mine I did some amazing stuff anyway. But prior to this game, it's worked wonders. It's given a confidence to the squad that everybody thought was gone, and it's brought some sense of optimism to the fan base. And so we can't interpret the work Amarim is doing game to game. We have to see it more as a longer progression. This was a team that did. There's a long way to go. You can't just go from Z to A in one season. It's just not how it happens. And no matter what you do, if you do have a good game, the next game's a completely different test, completely different set of questions. If you've prepped well for subject A, but subject B is on the test, you struggle again. And I think there has to be growing pains of understanding. I mean, it took Arsenal till this season to figure out a low block. It's not easy. I mean, you remember the Liverpool game with Burnley, where they needed a handball, and they had 90 minutes to try and break Burnley down, but they couldn't. Like, a low block is a low block, and teams use it because it's effective. and
It looks like we lost Ayo there, but he'll be back. Sam, we'll continue with you. From your perspective, what happened at Old Trafford?
I think it's just unlucky. Um, and I would
Unlucky.
say,
Really?
yeah,
Really?
a little bit of turn off as well. Like, I look at that game. I think Mbomo was out of position, quote unquote, also out of character, in my own opinion, out of his excellence. Go ahead, yo, please.
oh, sorry. Yeah,
That Everton game.
yeah. I'm just gonna say, like, it just takes a long time. Like, the tests change game to game, and this was a new test that the team wasn't prepared for. And I fully have confidence that they will figure it out over time. However, Rome is not built in a day. There's a lot of things that are working, and I think it's just a question of, this is just where Man United are. Next season, next half of next season, I think you're going to see better results. But a loss to Everton on these conditions makes sense. It's not like they didn't create chances. They created plenty of chances. It just didn't work out for them. So for me, there has been an element of misfortune, especially even in the last game. The Brighton game? There was an element of misfortune in that game, and yet they still found a way to draw the game. Like there is character, there is a sense of purpose. I think these boys are trying. It's just not going to happen overnight. That's just how I see it. Yeah.
Mm. Sam, Sam, your thoughts. What would you say can be another solution for United? Because I am not a happy fan right now.
Come on now. Some team just lost back to back. Come on, like 6 in a row. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
What
but
happened, man?
there's a consistency there. United is just up and
Consistency
down.
in losing.
I mean, it's only up at that point, but to win and do well and then to lose, but in the manner of how we lost that Everton game, it's just so
Nah,
annoying.
nah. Like I said when Ayo dropped, I think it's just unlucky. Um, yeah, you can make a case that there were one teammate down. They scored early. You should find a way to win. I can always make that case. But in this situation, honestly, I think it's just pure unlucky. I know. Looking at the game, Burma was not in the best of the best in Burma that we've seen from the beginning of the season. But you have games like that. They just came back from international break as well, so and you also have to look at it. How many Everton players, you know, played in international break? Of course, you see the saves that Pickford was. Is it Pickford or
It
Pickford?
was Pickford, yeah. He had the
Look at the saves he was
it's
doing.
always United. He
Yeah,
always does
he's
well.
he's a
So
crazy
annoying.
guy. He's annoying, but I like the guy. But how many Everton players actually went and play international games? There's so many factors that come into these games. I don't think it's a cause for Amaran to be fired, like a lot of United fans are calling for. I think it's just pure unlucky. When you look at the numbers, I know United, Amaran likes the numbers, XG, and all of those things. I really don't care. But in this game, I think there's room for improvement. Don't get me wrong. You can't have over 8 corners and you can't convert any one of them when you are at Old Trafford. That's just hard to believe. But you also have to think about it. Everything is crazy too. I don't like them. They're like your pests. You don't want to. It's hard to get rid of.
I
Not
know.
because they're a rival for Liverpool. They do that to everybody. Everton, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest. Those teams, they are like they will kill you if you play with them too much. So I don't see. I think United should just get their heads up and keep going. There are better days ahead. I'm seeing some light with his Amarin.
I will say this: they need to go out and go get those wing backs.
Yeah. For that system to work, yes.
Yeah, I'm tired of watching Dorgo. I'm tired of watching all
His
his
end pro-
players
his end product is abysmal.
Yeah, he gets so many
Below
chances. He
other
just
wing
can't.
back. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
what Everton did, which is what teams are supposed to do, is congest the central areas and trust that the wing backs won't do anything. And Man United has to make that a lose-lose scenario, and they have to go find the wing backs that punish people for giving them that much space. And Dorgo is just not it. Diallo, personally, I think they're actual ready-made wing backs. Go and get them.
Yeah, amigos, I don't condone violence whatsoever, but there was a meme I saw where this guy was just slapping people, and and the red card that happened, which of course just the guy has apologized. Okay, it happens. Well, it shouldn't happen, but it did. Amarin was like he wishes all his players would just slap each other.
That guy
I,
don't
I
know what
that's the
he should be
only thing
saying,
I
bro.
agree. That's the only thing I agree with
You
because
shouldn't say that.
that
Let's be
that,
honest.
perf- The performance, they needed to be slapped. I'm sorry, but again, amigos, I don't condone violence. Of course, that's not me. But it just shows you the frustration I have with the team, where it's lights on, lights off whenever they want, and it's so frustrating. It really is. I will say this: I think Meno is a 10 on the left. I don't think he's a midfielder. I really don't. And here lies the problem. Bruno can be a midfielder as well. What are we gonna do? I just Amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. We would love to read them because at this point I can go on and on. But thank you all so much for your time. Look forward to the other contents. This is why we're here to express our true feelings as fans to you all. But of course, also come up with solutions to these problems as well because that's just who we are. We love our team and we want them to do better. Even no matter how much we banter each other, which is always fun, we always want to see each other eventually improve, but not against each other, of course, because we want each other to lose against each other. But like, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Thank you all so much for your time. We will see you in the next content. Take care, amigos.